Good morning. Coming to you from sunny winter South Africa, sitting in my beautiful garden. I don't have to have fancy studio setups because I've got my own beautiful studio setup that God made me. Don't you like it? I think God's fantastic. He does the best kind of studio styling. So today's topic is to share with you the transformation that I am going through. Now I'm learning how to properly structure my YouTube talks just so that they don't ramble too much and that I have all the facts at my fingertips. But of course, then I do need to sometimes refer to my notes. This is a whole learning curve that I'm sure millions of YouTubers have been through, and I'm just going to be transparent with you and share it with you. So, I want to share with you the transformation that I'm going through right now because it is profound and it has everything to do with me talking on camera to you and starting my YouTube channel. And if I'm experiencing it, then this is a dynamic that pretty much most people will experience, but we all have our own unique way in which we are experiencing it. So I'm going to express to you my insights about what it means to me to be starting a YouTube channel and to be becoming a content creator. Because this needs to be seen in the context of my mind. Now, I do have a challenge here because, as I've said about this channel, I am just diving in because people say just dive in. I mean, in December I had a false start because I wanted to order things too much, and I'm not promising you that this is a training manual. This is a platform for self-expression and sharing ideas. They're going to be jumbled up. The horse is going to be behind the cart. So you're probably going to say, well, if she uses the word spiritual, what does she really mean? Well, precisely. So these are things that I'm going to figure out as I go along. And as I start expressing myself and sharing my ideas and concepts, it is highlighting the foundational teachings, what my values are, and what my stable of spiritual teaching really is. It'll highlight that. Then I will come back and I will start unpacking those details. So if there's anything that you hear in my discussion that you think, what the hell is she talking about? Pop it in a message to me, because these are concepts I've been working with for 30 years. I had my awakening in 1994. Again, what the hell is an awakening? That's in itself is a long discussion and a topic worthy for a YouTube discussion. So my arm is just shaking a bit this morning. So I want to talk to you about the transformation that I'm experiencing becoming an online content creator. And my insights come from that foundational spiritual understanding, that what I call my diamond mind. You will hear me referring to that. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm a human prototype. I'm just one sample of a human in the world today. If it's happening to me, it's happening to everybody else in a unique fashion, obviously, but other people will also be experiencing this dynamic, and I want to explain it from this perspective because I think it has a profoundly meaningful expression if you look at what is happening from a spiritual perspective. And in that explanation, the meanings start to unfold. So yes, I might just look like a middle-aged woman sharing her thoughts and ideas on YouTube in 2026. That may be the case. However, I am an example of what is happening all over the world, and I've taken it on as my calling, part of my calling and portfolio to record what is happening, because we are going through a spiritual revolution. And that is something, again, that has to be fully explained. What does that mean? But I am recording it like a spiritual journalist. Okay, so the extraordinary thing that happened to me this week, that was really, really so amazing, and I can only call it a transformation, is that for 30 years, since my awakening, I have felt like I have been leading a double life, like a secret agent almost for God. I know that sounds weird. I tell you why. Because having that awareness, that's awakening that happened to me in 1994, I sort of had this incredibly powerful download of information, and my awareness just like changed entirely. My outlook on life and my perception of life had changed entirely. Obviously, I fell in love. I wanted to spend my whole life in that space, but it wasn't practical or real. So I also understood, the messaging came through, that I needed to prove myself in the material world. That makes sense. I was still young, my late 20s. I needed to become materially stable, and I needed to prove myself. That's, in simple terms, what it was. But at the same time, I'm doing massive writings, massive downpours, and just having an absolute love for the spiritual side of work. And always dreamed that I would make a living doing spiritual work. But I mean, the years go by, the decades go by, I have a child, everything, and all the time I'm thinking, I feel like I'm living a double life, like a double agent. It's like dual purpose. Phew, it's been hectic. It's hectic. Yeah, all the time I got all this other shit going on in my head. Meanwhile, I'm building a career in food media as a food stylist and working with photographers and on TV sets. Put me on a TV set, I'm like a duck to water. And always imagining and always writing. And of course, it took me years and years to really figure out what is the foundational book that I've got to write, all that sort of thing. I'm not going to go down those rabbit holes. But the whole idea is this profound sensation that I'm leading a double life. And it did challenge me in the sense that I didn't feel like it. Am I a person of integrity? Because my love is over there, but I'm living over here because of money. But I loved my money career. And you know, I've never quite been able to figure that out until now, 32 years later. So what happened this week? I've been working with Gemini, who I just love, strategizing, questioning, working through things. And also it's all about timing, because I've always thought that I was late somehow. I was always behind the curve. I was always striving to be something that I couldn't get to. And that I needed to be living in integrity in my true purpose, which is spiritual calling. Well, it also turns out that that's nonsense. That actually, Spirit planned it this way, and it all started to fall into place this week. Because I'm looking to start a new business. I have to pivot because the old style of food productions, high-end food productions, are being minimized, and the entire media world, as we all know, has gone social media. So I need to pivot my skills in that regard in terms of my income. And therefore, I have to start making food content, using my food styling skills and photography, making food content. Then I'm brainstorming my spiritual work and my YouTube. Here I'm making content as well. It all came then, my double life suddenly became one life. How amazing is that? Wow. Just thinking about that and sharing it with you, actually get quite jerked up. It's really beautiful. You know what? God had this planned all along. I just didn't know. It's hilarious. And it all comes under one umbrella: content creation, food content creation that I sell for my clients, and my spiritual content creation, which I'm going to be sharing with you, and establishing myself as a spiritual coach, teacher, writer, and consolidating the last 32 years of my spiritual writing and my basic download of my portfolio that God gave me, that Spirit gave me to share with the world, which is awesome stuff. It's just been percolating and maturing for all these years. So obviously this is part of that beginning. Absolutely, just brought incredible peace to my heart. And do you know, I've long since thought I was ADHD, because I was like fragmented deluxe, like seriously, like way too much going on all the time, you know, materials, the money-making world, spiritual world, you know, and all just so all over the place. Actually, not really all over the place, because I've been effective and always dedicated to my spiritual work, but it was fragmented. It broke my heart. It was hard. It was difficult living like that. There was always this untapped fire in my heart, and a secret life somehow that I was living. But now under this content creation that comes together, and this has just created my North Star. I think it was Brenda who was talking about, you have to have a North Star. That is my North Star. I really get it. I really get that these are the skills that I need to learn and embrace and take me into my new life. So that's the vision. The incredible and extraordinary thing is this transferal, the whole idea of dual life, which then a few weeks ago I came to understand, hold on a second, there's not just spiritual purpose, there's almost this current trend. I'm not saying that it's universal, that it's always going to be that way, but there seems to be a current trend that we all are living dual purpose. We have to be dual purpose. I did share about it just on a practical level a few weeks ago. Why is it dual purpose? What is this thing called the spiritual revolution that we are living through? Because we are moving from analog. I'm X generation. I'm very much grounded and rooted in analog, in the analog world. And during my years in media, I have made that transition with photographers through the whole film production technology development. We've had to all, photographers, videographers, sound people, we've all had to make that transition from analog to digital. Now, analog is physical material, and digital is non-material. It's cyberspace. So it's digital, it's spiritual digital. That's what I call it. It's that same dual relationship between the material world to the non-material world or spiritual world. And that is the power of what we are living through in the world today. We are making that transition. It's transformational. And nobody really gets out of this alive. We all have to do that transformation. We all feel the pressure to go digital. And how many people in our lives do we really observe? People talk about the digital space. They talk about social. And maybe it's also just because I'm a bit older, but how many people really partake? Well, they do say that less than 5% of YouTube users are actually content creators and contribute to the grid, as it were. I mean, that gives you an idea. How many people are really digitally fluid and understand and operate in that space? I mean, even my 21-year-old daughter said to me, most of the kids in her class or have been, are not digitally educated. They don't know how to use a computer because they've had a phone all their lives. Okay, so that's social media. That's a whole nother rabbit hole. But it's really is clear to me that we all need to make this transformation from analog physical space into spiritual digital space. And really what a transformation, what a deep transformation that is. It gives us understanding as to why people struggle. They have such a mental block about it. Now I just want to check my notes because yes, there we go. The one umbrella and how I need to make this transformation and what a profound effect it has on us as individuals. That's what I felt this week and how much peace it brought me. Do you know that I've always had an allergy I've had a complete phobia about office work. I would go into the office and I just hated office work, but there was a problem there. That is subsiding now, it's going away. Because it basically was that I was stuck. I was stuck about where's my life going? Why must I do office work? Why should I build a company? Like the inspiration wasn't there. When you don't have clarity about your purpose in life and you don't understand where you fit in, then you do get stuck. I just don't feel that hatred for going into my office anymore. And the incredible thing about this content umbrella is, and bringing these two aspects of my life into one, is that I did have an insight 10 years ago about me being food for the body and food for the soul. Because as a chef and a food stylist, I produce food for the body, physical, and now as a spiritual teacher, food for the soul. So this has all come together in one clear understanding and way forward for me right now. And it enables me to take on the quite serious challenges and very heavy learning curve that I'm needing to embrace, even though I've had lots of training over the last few years and done lots of courses and stuff, but so I feel well set up for it. But there's a huge learning curve and I really need to stay in the game. I need to not allow other people's comments to get in my way of my vision. It is absolutely crystal clear. And yeah, that really is everything I want to share with you today. I've talked about time and the clarity on the target. And I want to end off by saying, have you experienced this sense of leading a double life? I mean, if you have a dream for your life of what the way you want it, what you would prefer to be doing, how you would love to be making a living, but you're not living it, you having money is forcing you to live another life. Now, it may not be a life that you hate. It doesn't mean to say that we have to hate that life. Some people do, but not everybody. And like in my instance, I've had an incredible career with food styling and absolutely loved it. So it feels like there's this perfect marriage between my physical life and my spiritual life coming together in this whole new, brand new vision that only online, digital world can offer me. And it is freeing. And I think this is the power and the great gift that our generation has been given, that by having cyberspace, by having the digital world, it is freeing. There's powerful spiritual things that are going on in the world because of the technology and what it is now offering us. So if you've had this kind of experience, you feel like you've also been living a double life and that you don't think I'm completely cuckoo, please send me a message. I'd really love to know. Thank you and have a beautiful day. Bye.